On the table today we have a Pioneer DJ XDJ-RX3. I have a guy wanting me to take a look at his mini headphone jack. It's having issues. It says it's loose and I can kind of feel it. There it is, kind of wiggling around. I'm going to open this little guy up and see if it can be repaired. It's completely separate from everything else that's inside this unit, so it should be fairly easy to get to. So first thing I got to do is flip it over and then take all the screws out of the bottom. Alright guys, so it looks like there's some coming around here. I believe they're all the same size. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 knobs, they have to come off as well. The easiest way that I know how to pull these off is to get like a shoestring or something that's flat and you can get underneath it, and then they should just pop right off. If you can't pull them off with your hands, which it looks like they're not going to come off easy. Shoestring underneath, wrap it around like so, and you're going to grab it both hands, kind of pull up, and it slides right off. Okay, so once you remove all the screws on the bottom, you do not have to remove the screws for the feet. There's only 2 screws that you need to remove from the back, because there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 screws. So when you're looking back here, you're going to see these little arrows right here. That screw you're going to need to remove. And then there's another one on the other side, looks the exact same. That screw there. Alright, so now that those screws are removed, the whole thing lifts up and out. We need to find the headphone jack, which is right here in the front. Okay, so we're just going to be super gentle with this. And we're going to open it up just like that, and then right here is where the headphone jack is. And there's a lot of ribbon cables in here, so you got to be super careful with those. You don't want to damage them, pinch them, do anything like that. Alright, so if you look here, you can see the wire connects here to this board here. Is just disconnect this board, and all you have to do is kind of pull up on that wire. So it looks like we just need to remove 1, 2, 3, those 3 screws. There's the whole bracket right there. There's also a screw here in the front. We're going to need to take that off. Alright, so we just need to loosen this up here. And then this should just slide right out. Here we go. And this thing is completely busted. So we're going to have to replace this whole headphone jack. And on top of that, it looks like the pad is torn away from the board itself. My first goal is to remove all the solder off the board here. And again, you can kind of see how this one's lifted, so that contact is off. I got to be real careful with that. This is your ground here, and then this is your left and right, just for your stereo. Since I don't have this piece, I have one of these mini headphone jack pieces here, and hopefully it'll fit inside this case without getting in the way or bumping into something. First off, I need to wire it up. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder some wires onto the contacts, and then I'm going to take those wires and solder them directly into the contacts on this board here. I'm going to use a little spacer here. It's like almost like a washer that I printed with my 3D printer. It was still a little bit too small. It was just falling through, so I needed to make a little washer that would fill in that space. I'm gonna go black, white, and red for the wires. I called the person that I'm doing the repair for, and I gave him some options, and he decided to go with this option because he said that he needed the controller back as fast as possible because he has a few events coming up. If I was to special order the parts, you know, it would take a few weeks to get here. Alright, so this loop right here, that is your ground. So I'm going to put some solder here. That. The next little tab here. This tab right here. So we got it all soldered up here. So I did put a little shrink tubing here on the contacts, and then I'll have to cut these wires to size. Now that I have this mounting bracket, I need to check the clearance. Look at that. It barely fits, but it fits. So now what I need to do is I'm going to have to tighten it down from the front and then try to get it as centered as possible. And then I'm going to add a little bit of like a bead of hot glue around it just to kind of keep it in place. So I'm not going to need a whole lot of it. Alright, so we're going to leave a little extra length just in case. So I already cut the ground. Going to cut the red. Now I'm going to cut the white, and that one was a little bit longer. I already got the wires and everything resoldered in. I'm going to check the continuity. I have a voltmeter here. I'm going to check my contacts here. So we have this. We're going to check the ground. That one works. And then we're going to check the second. That one works. And then we're going to check the tip. and that one works. So I have connection. That means that this headphone jack is connected and good to go. I reattached this pad the best I could, and now we just need to put it all back together. First I need to plug this back in. That's the plug for the headphone jacks. So that's nice and easy, and all we have to do is just connect the two screws back here in the back again, put the screws back on the bottom. Now, one thing you want to make sure when you're putting any type of screws back into any equipment, no matter what it is, make sure that there's nothing pinched, because if there is and then you start screwing it in, you're going to run a screw directly through a wire or some type of cable or something. Alright guys, lastly all we got to do is put these knobs back. Alright, so I just wanted to try turning it on just to make sure it powers up, which it should. There you go. All your buttons, nice and clicky. Pioneer DJ, it's loading up. Record box, everything looks good. Hot cues, not bad. And then there is your new headphone jack, and I did tighten this up a little bit more as well. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and maybe it'll help you guys out at least with the disassembly of the XDJ-RX3. So peace for now guys.